Okay.
Hello, welcome to anatomy of the face, or the throat, or whatever. Digestive system. Okay, so starting in your oral cavity, you're going to have your hard palate and your soft palate and your uvula, and then this. Okay, this remember is what kind of tonsil is this? Pharyngeal tonsil. These are which are your adenoids. Here though is going to be your palatine tonsil. Here's your lingual tonsil. So palatine tonsil is the one that you see when you open your mouth. That's one you're going to take out if you get your tonsils removed. Okay, and then you have the three parts of the pharynx. So this up here with just the air is the nasal pharynx, and you have the oral pharynx, and down here you have the laryngopharynx. And then you have salivary gland. So on this model, this is going to be your parotid salivary gland. Underneath the jaw, submandibular, it's going to be called the submandibular salivary gland. And then we'll see the other one in the other model. Anything else that I'm missing? That's it.
Okay, so this is all the kidney. So the renal capsule is the outside here, like this brown part. The renal cortex is the next layer down. So it would be just right around here. And then you go to the renal medulla, which I believe is one of these. Yeah, the renal medulla is one of these triangle-like things. And the renal pyramid is just this whole thing. The renal papilla is just the tip of it. And the renal columns are like these striated things here. The renal pelvis is this whole white thing in here. And
The whole white thing is the renal pelvis?
Yep, this whole big thing right here.
Okay.
And the hilum is where stuff comes in and out, just kind of like with the leukocyte cortex we were talking about last time. And this is the ureter. And then there's a minor calyx, which the calyx are the little parts in here that just kind of join up. So a minor calyx is just with one of the sections, and the major one is with two sections joining together. So like this would be a major one, and this would be a minor one. And now blood vessels are a little more tricky. So you start with a renal artery right here. It goes to the segmental artery, and then the interlobal artery.
Which one's the interlobal artery?
Right here, between the two lobes. Like
Okay,
right
and so
there.
Okay.
And then accurate is sorry guys. I believe yeah, you're right. The accurates are these ones that go around like that. And then they go into the cortical radiate, which are these right here. But you can also see them on this diagram. Move over right here.
Okay.
And then it goes to here with the efferent arterioles, and then the glomerulus, which is, I believe, one of these things. And out of the glomerulus, this is the glomerulus here. It's kind of like magnifying as we go down. So this would be the efferent arteriole because it's coming in, and then you have the efferent arteriole, which is coming out. And no gas exchange happens here, so it just kind of comes out. And then it splits into capillaries, which you can come over here to this one. And right around here you see it splitting up into little capillaries, and those are the pertubular capillaries, or it goes into the vasa recta, which are down here, and they're the blue ones. And from the vasa recta it can go to the venules, and then it kind of leaves the same way it came in, but with veins. So you would go to the, over here you see the interlobar veins now, and then you can go to the arcuate vein, interlobar vein, renal vein, and then you're good.
We start out in renal artery, and then when it branches off into segmental arteries right here. So then again, you keep following that, and it breaks off again into interlobar arteries. I think it goes to different lobes. It goes up to the arcuate artery. Right here, and I think it's kind of like an arc, it arcs. And then it goes into cortical radiate, which was
Those guys.
these
These ones?
These are the ones, alright.
What are those? Cortical
Cortical
radius
radius, yep.
arteries.
AKA interlobular,
Interlobular, right.
Lobular.
And then they go into the afferent arterioles,
which are those little dots. So we're gonna pop on over.
Can be seen in here better. Which then goes to the glomerulus, right here.
Yep, so let's real quick, Joe. Real quick. Interlobular artery is
Yep.
this one. And it's gonna go, it's coming from arcuate or going to arcuate.
Coming from arcuate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on this one, number four.
This is arcuate.
Yes. So in this case, it goes arcuate to interlobular. Same thing here. Arcuate to interlobular to number 10, which is going to be your
Afferent arterial.
afferent arterial.
Or you think of it as number 8 right here.
And then, okay, so afferent arterial entering this, what's this called, Joe?
Glomerulus.
Glomulus. Here's the giant glomulus. So where's your afferent arterial?
Right here.
Glomulars, I can't say it.
Afferent arterial.
Yep, perfect. What's
And
after
then it
that?
goes in the glomerulus. And then it comes out the efferent arterial
Perfect.
to the protuberant capillaries.
Bed? Capillary bed?
Yep. And then it goes into the venules, you can kind of see right here. Into the interlobular, or right here, it's interlobular. Down into the arcuate vein.
Which, if we come back, interlobular to arcuate.
Yep. Which then goes down to the interlobar, which then combines with all the other ones and becomes the renal vein.
And out here. Okay, so here we have the kidney, clearly. The outermost layer is the renal capsule, which then leads to the renal cortex, which has all of the veins and arteries. Then we have the renal medulla here that houses the renal pyramids. As you can see, a kind of triangular.
Renal pyramid.
And then inside, if you can see like the different papilla, the renal papilla.
It's number 14.
Yep.
Yeah, no, 14 is when they
So,
they join
renal
together.
pyramid.
20 is
Yep.
pyramid, 14
Pyramid.
is papilla.
Papilla. Then we have the pelvis, which is kind of bony looking. In the pelvis we have the ureter, which then leads to the hilum, which is kind of the part that leads to the minor calx, because this was the major calx.
Yep, so number 12 is a major calyx.
Major
And then
21 is the minor.
one's a minor. What's 13? Openings of papillary duct. Wow.
How come you know it?
And yep, that combines the whole renal pelvis.
Thank you.
So this is, you ready?
Yes.
So this is respiratory for the cat. So this is his left lung, which has the anterior, middle, posterior, and then it has a fourth lobe, which is the mediastinal, which is like down below the heart. I don't know if you can see it like right there-ish. And then, so on his right, he has 3 lobes, which is anterior, middle, and posterior. And then this is obviously his little diaphragm that moves up and down. And then you go up here, and there is the larynx, which is a little bit, like if you feel it, it feels different than the trachea, and the trachea have the rings of cartilage on them.
So the larynx is like the ballish thing.
Yep, the larynx is the ball thing, and you gotta cut up through the muscles to see it. So that's the cat respiratory.
Okay.
And then we gotta... So, ready guys?
We're ready.
We're ready.
Teacher Sarah.
Okay, so this is the digestive system of the little cat. And here's the parietal peritoneum, which is kind of the shiny covering. And if you put it like this, it just kind of closes everything up, but it's caught and reflected. This is the greater omentum, which usually just covers this and protects it, but we're going to put it out of the way over here. So here is the liver, and it's got a bunch of lobes. but we don't need to know the bunch of lobes for the cat because they're different. But this does have this ligament right here. You see that connects it from the diaphragm to the lobes of the liver, and it connects between the top 2 lobes right there.
Can you point that out one more time?
This thing right here?
Yes.
Yes. That is the falciform ligament. And then you have the esophagus behind the trachea, which you really can't see all that well, but you would just have to find it. It would be behind the trachea right about there. So then you have the gallbladder, which kind of died on our cat, which is why he's green. But it should be in the liver right here. See this little pouchy thing that's deflated? It should be inflated, and it'll look something like that. So now we have the stomach, which is below the liver. Here's the nice big stomach. And the different parts to the stomach are the cardia, which is the beginning right around here. And then you have the fundus, which is this curve right here. Fundus, and then bodies, the big huge here thing. Pylorus is the end, and then we cut open the pylorus. It's the really green part, just because our cat's stupid. But
Gallbladders.
yeah, you see this part here where it's tighter, and where there's into the lines here, the rugae or the right there, and then it tightens up and there's no more rugae. That's the pyloric sphincter. And the pyloric sphincter goes into the small intestine. First, you want us to find the pancreas, which is you take the greater momentum and reflect it up. Here's the pancreas right there. And then the spleen, which is right here, and it's kind of big. And then for the small intestine, that was from the stomach. You had the pyloric valve go through the small intestine. And the small intestine has 3 regions. It has the duodenum, which is the beginning. So the duodenum's right around there. And then the jejunum, which is the middle part. And the ileum, which is the end.
So it goes duodenum, jejunum, and ileum.
Yep. And here's the end right here. And the ileum contains the ileoceliac valve, which we cut open and found down here. So this one's easier to see because there's actual, like, you can see the valvy part. Kind of. There we go. And then that leads into the large intestine. And if you put them all back together like this, there's the large intestine, which starts at the cecum, because at the ileocecal valve, and then there's because it's supposed to be kind of in a perfect little triangle, so there's the ascending, which goes up like this, transverse, which goes across, and descending, which goes down here. It's kind of hard to see so ascending, transverse, descending. And then it just goes to the rectum and out. And then there's the spleen. We already found it. So it's the digestive system in our little cat. The urinary system of the cat is there's the kidneys, 1, 2, and then here's the bladder right here. And from the kidneys to the urinary bladder, which is right here, is the ureter. There's one on each side. It goes from kidney to bladder. And then from bladder to outside is, the urethra, which is right there. You guys can see. Well done. Reproductive system. So, starting off, this is the, spermatocord. Okay, the spermatocord goes from the penis to other parts of the body, and it carries the vas deferens and then all the little nerves and stuff that it needs. So the white one is the vas deferens, and these are like the blood vessels and the nerves. And you see that if like I pull on this kind of moves, and vice versa, so they're connected. And then down here, the prepuce is like this covering in the fur, and you open it up to see the penis. And the scrotal sac is like, that's the fur and the skin. And then after you take that off, there's the testes, which has the epididymis on the top, and that's kind of like the bulge up there. And it's not really easy to see, but epididymis, testes. And I think that's it.
Recorded. All right, Rach and Raj here.
Rach Raj.
Okay, so here are your teeth, obviously. So let's start at the top. Structure enamel is going to be this up here, number 20. Okay, and then you're going to have dentin. Thank you. Number 22, it's a yellow, so you can see it. Dentin is around the whole tooth. It's throughout the whole thing. Okay, what's next, Raj? The pulp.
24.
Okay, so the pulp is just the stuff in the middle where the root canal is going to be within it. Okay, so it's pink. And then cementum. Okay, so if this is your dentin, cementum is going to be right on the outside of your dentin, right within the root socket still, because this is the root socket, so it's right along the outside of the dentin, right above the alveolar process, whatever, alveolar jaw. And then the crown is the purple part up here, and then the neck is the pink part within, and then the root is just this whole chunk right here of the rest of the tooth. And then you have your different types of teeth. Okay. So the first two are your incisors, because if you want to remember this, when I was a kid, I lost all 4 of these teeth at the same time, so I lost all my incisors. How could I chew? I don't know. I lost all of them. I couldn't find any.
All of them.
So those are your incisors. Then you are going to have one cuspid. This guy, he's funny. And then 2 premolars, 1, 2. And then your 3 molars, 1, 2, 3. This thing is the glomerulus?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Whatever. So number 2 is the glomerulus. We know that's the afferent arterial. Number 7 is going to be your distal tubule.
Anybody want to see a female cow?
Yes, in 1 second. 4 is going to be your podocyte, we don't have to know that. 6 down here is going to be your proximal tubule. Anything else?
I see 7.
7's up here.
Oh.
I don't know. Capillary duct beats me. Go ahead.
Okay. Externally we have the parotid gland. Then under we have the submandibular gland. Deep we have the sublingual.
Beautiful. What are you doing? So that part of the colon is the sigmoid colon. That's the descending, transverse, ascending, right to where it's going to connect to the small intestines.
Yep.